The power dynamic within the Democratic Party has shifted at least a little bit as once again Nancy Pelosi was forced to delay the vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill because she did not have the votes from progressives. This is showing that there is an actual solid group of votes in the Progressive Caucus that are willing to stand strong and not support just anything that these corporate Democrats bring up. This is the first time that they have really shown their power. And this is fantastic. It's something that I think most people, based on history, did not expect for them to actually hold their vote here, but they did, and it's forcing these talks to go further on the bipartisan or on the budget bill. So let me go over some of the details here from Politico, and it shows you that things have changed at least a little bit for now. So this from Politico. Pelosi and her leadership team worked at a furious pace to secure the votes of various factions across the caucus, sitting down with members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, the centrist Blue Dog Coalition, and the moderate New Democrat Coalition. Quote, "It's happening today. We're moving forward," Representative Josh Gottenheimer told reporters after the Blue Dog meeting. But it didn't. You lost. Progressives won. So he was so confident. This is one of the guys that is trying to block the passage of the budget bill. He was so confident that they were going to pass the corporate giveaway infrastructure bill, but they didn't. More here as those bicameral talks slid later into the night Thursday. Progressives held a private call where Congressional Progressive Caucus Chair Pramila Jayapal reiterated to her members that she was still demanding a Senate vote on the broader social spending plan, the budget bill, not just a framework. Liberal Democrats expressed solid opposition to voting, with member after member speaking up to say they would oppose the bill, according to a person on the call. And this is why Nancy Pelosi had to delay the vote, because she was not going to bring up the infrastructure bill just for it to lose, even though she promised that she would have a vote on Monday, then promised, oh, okay, it's going to be on Thursday now for sure, definitely on Thursday. Didn't happen. Didn't happen because progressives stood strong. They do not have their budget deal, so they're not going to vote on this this corporate giveaway of an infrastructure bill. A little more here. So this is what I was talking about earlier in the week, the idea that Republicans may come over and support the infrastructure bill in the House in order to pass it. It does appear there are several of them, but not enough. So roughly 10 to 15 Republicans are expected to back the vote as of Thursday evening, according to GOP sources. That wouldn't be enough to make up for liberal defections, however, with Jayapal reiterating that at least 60 Democrats are prepared to vote against the bill. So, it's one thing if you had, 8 members of the Progressive Caucus against this vote, people that you would expect like Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, Jamal Bowman, but they had 60 Democrats. That is a lot to have this progressive opposition to the infrastructure bill until they get that budget bill first. And I think part of it is they understand. I mean, I covered this as well, I think, in a recent video. Even Third Way, conservative Democratic group Third Way, is in support of the budget bill because they understand that they need to pass something substantial, something real in order to win their elections in 2022 in the midterms. So even they understand there has to be a real investment here, that they have to be able to go to their voters and say, hey, I did this in order to actually win next year. That's moderates worried about that. So moderates want to pass this because they need something to run on. Incredible. I'm loving this. So last thing here, Bernie Sanders, of course, was a big piece of this, him continuing the pressure on the Progressive Caucus, telling them to hold the line. So this was last night. Ryan Noble's here tweeting out, negotiators are not having success winning over Bernie Sanders in a last-ditch attempt to strike a deal. Quote, "You cannot, in my view, have an agreement 2 o'clock in the morning that nobody has seen. So I hope, again, the strategy should be to defeat this infrastructure bill." So at the last moment, it appeared like there was going to try to be a somewhat of a deal on paper, not a vote, but a deal on paper about the budget bill. But Bernie's like, you can't, that doesn't mean anything. You have to actually have the time to be able to read whatever agreement there is, but also an actual vote is what matters, because then it's actually passed and, at that point you can't renege on that. So this is going to continue. They're apparently going to try and hold another vote today, Friday, on the infrastructure bill. We're going to see what happens with that. But it's good to see this dynamic within the Democratic Party is shifting and that progressives have some real power.